Hello again. I am back with another ramble video and also a personal ramble video. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I've been dealing with for the past 5 or 6 years, and that is seasonal affective disorder, aka winter depression, aka seasonal depression, aka SAD, as it's sometimes referred to as. So if that's the kind of topic you find disturbing or maybe it brings back bad memories, you might want to skip this video. If you aren't aware what this is, I'm going to quickly read a description of it from the official NHS website. Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is a type of depression that comes and goes in a seasonal pattern. SAD is sometimes known as winter depression because the symptoms are usually more apparent and more severe during the winter. Some people with SAD may have symptoms during the summer and feel better during the winter. Symptoms of SAD can include a persistent low mood, a loss of pleasure or interest in normal everyday activities, irritability, feelings of despair, guilt and worthlessness, feeling lethargic, lacking in energy and sleeping during the day, sleeping for longer than normal and finding it hard to get up in the morning, craving carbohydrates and gaining weight, difficulty concentrating, and it also says that there's a decreased sex drive. I don't know nothing about that one. For some people, these symptoms could be severe and have a significant impact on their day-to-day activities. So yeah, pretty much all of them, aside from the decreased sex drive, which I know nothing about, pretty much all of that is what I have to deal with. This is not something small like just feeling a little bit on the downside during the winter months. It can be much more severe than that. Okay, the rest of this video is going to be me just talking about my experience with this disorder and sharing advice on how I've dealt with it, because I feel like I've learned a lot since my initial diagnosis, and I know there's other people out there with the same thing, and some of this advice would have definitely helped me out if I'd known it a lot earlier. It's also because I don't want this video to just be just me talking about how hard it is. I want it to mean something. I want it to perhaps help some other people out there. I'm going to talk about my symptoms and stuff now, get a bit more in depth on them. I would say that the biggest way this disorder affects me is my sleep. Now, in the spring and in the summer months, I'm always in bed around 10:30 p.m, sometimes 11:30, and I'm always out of bed at 10 o'clock in the morning, because that's a good time for me. It's consistently that, it's a routine. I'm never divert from that ever, unless I'm sick or something. But in autumn and winter, my sleeping just completely tanks. I'll lay in bed with no screens or phones for up to 7 hours and just absolutely zero sleep. No matter what I do in the day too. I could run a marathon and still no sleep. There's times when I've spent a good 70% of my day outside, no screens, hours in the sun, what little we get, and still nothing. I still feel the effects of the lack of sleep, like my eyes will be stinging, my body will be aching and shit. It's just awful. Another thing that tanks is my motivation. I would say I'm a very motivated person. Like, when I want to do something, it gets done. You know what I'm saying? Best examples of that are the videos on this channel. For pretty much all of them. Particularly the tier list videos that I made, like the Black Sabbath one and the Captain Beyond one. And even other stuff like the Silent Hill 2 video I made ages ago. I've sat down for 4 up to 6 hours at a time, just writing and researching and editing. sometimes even forgetting to eat. But in these winter months, it's just the motivation isn't there. Even basic things like getting out of bed can take well over an hour. Same with making breakfast and dinner, brushing my teeth, just everything. Writing down my thoughts for this video was such a bigger task than it normally is, and it's taken me multiple weeks after writing just to sit and record this. Fatigue and mood are also affected. I always feel drained, even after sleep. It's like how you feel about 5 seconds after you wake up, but just throughout the whole day. I walk around like I'm a zombie sometimes. For my mood, God, it can get bad. Constantly have this feeling of impending doom. Not sure if YouTube will take this video down for me saying this, but I often got some very, very bad thoughts during these months. I don't want to say specifically what, but they were very bad. I have worked through them though, mostly, which I'll talk about more in depth in the advice section. But yeah, all the previous years I've had this, I was plagued with just awful thoughts. Me often getting extremely paranoid about a specific thing. Like one winter, although it does sound a bit silly looking back, I got extremely paranoid of getting a virus on my computer. It was because I had watched YouTube videos on viruses like the infamous "You Are an Idiot" virus. Even though I only ever downloaded stuff on Steam, I was so scared I just completely stopped using my computer. And even started crying about it, but I don't anymore. I'm alright now. The worst thing about whenever my mood gets low is that there isn't anyone to talk to, you know? Because I usually get these feelings when, like, very late at night when everyone's in bed. So what I usually do is I distract myself. I do things that make me happy. Usually it's playing a video game. Right now it's me playing Resident Evil 4 again. And also for the streams I've been doing recently of Cry of Fear. That's really helped my mood. So those are the main symptoms I have. Now I'm going to give advice on how I keep going through these months. Although I have to say that I am no doctor. This is just based on my experience with the disorder. First advice is to get diagnosed if you haven't already. Especially because people tend to think you're being lazy when you can't get out of bed in the morning. Both my secondary school and college were like this. With college I was doing a media course when the winter months hit, and I had to quit because I was constantly going into college on zero sleep, falling asleep in class, and I just couldn't function at all. I tried to do the course again months later, and on the induction I had, I was asked why I had quit before. I explained I was having trouble sleeping and falling asleep in class, and the head teacher of the media department just looked at me with such disgust. They had right through us and just told me that was me being rude, and said, "Oh, how would you like it if I was falling asleep right now?" God, it absolutely broke me hearing that. I don't remember if I specifically mentioned that I have seasonally affected depression, but I don't see why she had to respond like that. That was just awful of her. And I'll never forget the way she scowled at me after I told her. Getting a diagnosis might not stop everyone from dismissing you as lazy, but it'll definitely help some people understand. Advice number 2 is to keep doing things that make you happy, as I hinted at earlier. I know it's a thing with even non-seasonal depression, where you stop doing things that make you happy and you just lose interest in them. But it's so important that you keep doing those things. If I stop, I just end up in a downward spiral. Whatever it is, whether it's making videos, gaming, watching TV, movies, listening to loads of music, that's what I've been doing when I haven't been able to sleep. Whether it's doing all that like me, or doing sports, going for walks, painting, anything. You gotta keep doing those things. It'll make getting through the months so much easier. I remember in either the winter of 2022 or 2023, past midnight when I couldn't sleep, I was binging some shows that I used to watch as a kid. I was watching iCarly and Victorious, and it really helped me get through that. Advice number 3, slow down, take it easy. This is something that even I forget to do. I had to be reminded by my own mother just a couple of weeks ago. This may be different for others, but I am just not able to do everything like I can in the summer and in the spring. And that's okay. That fact always stressed me out before. I always felt like I had to be the exact same as I was. But that only made everything worse, putting so much pressure on myself. Like I can't really go to the gym anymore. I have tried, but it's just so overwhelming and actively makes my mental health worse. But instead of completely giving up, I just said, what's a substitute that could be a bit easier for me? And that was just going for walks whenever I can. Even just little ones like going to the shop, or if my dad's having a drive out, I'll go with him sometimes. And on a similar note, it's like making videos for this channel. Writing, editing and recording has just been a million times harder than usual. As I said, it's taken me several weeks just to complete this one, and it's been very, very stressful. But it's not about throwing your hands up and going, this is too hard, I completely give up, not gonna try anything else. It's about looking at what you can't do and finding some sort of a substitute that's less stressful, but still you keep doing the thing that you wanted to do. Like that's why I've been streaming a lot recently, because there's not as much planning. It's just me firing up a game, whatever the game is, going into OBS, starting the stream, and we're off to the races. Obviously you only want to slow down to a certain extent. You don't want to go too slow or stop completely. You gotta take things easy but still take it. I know not everyone is in a position where they can. God forbid you in employment or education with this disorder. I salute you if you are. But if you are in that position, just take things at your pace. Even the NHS page on seasonally affected depression says to avoid extremely stressful situations if possible. So do that wherever you can. Advice 4. Keep socialising / doing stuff with others. I cannot stress enough that isolating yourself with this disorder is one of the worst things that you can do. And it doesn't matter what you do, just find things to do with people, friends or family. In recent times I started rewatching Doctor Who with my dad. Sometimes we watch during the day, but mainly very late at night since he likes to stay up late. It makes the nights much more bearable to get through. Some other stuff I do is, like right now, playing Cry of Fear with my sibling. That's been very, very beneficial to me. And also just hanging out with my friends, specifically ones that I hadn't talked to in quite a few years. Reconnecting with them in the summer was one of the best decisions I've made in a while. So I try and hang out with them whenever I can. Us humans are social creatures after all. I know it can feel like you don't want to socialise during these times, but even if you aren't talking, being around others is extremely beneficial, as long as they aren't toxic, of course. 2 bonus advice things that I thought of after finishing the script. Bonus advice number 1 is to take care of yourself physically. In a previous video I did on why the band Nirvana is so important to me, I mentioned a time when I was very depressed and I'd stopped taking care of myself. Stopped showering, eating, drinking, going outside, everything. Yeah, you gotta not do that. You gotta prevent that as much as you can. Nowadays, stuff like eating is more of a routine for me, so it's not something I really stop or can stop. But showering can definitely be difficult. For me, I tend to do it right after I get up. Otherwise, it turns into a thing of me constantly putting it off and ending up never doing it. And letting yourself going to a downward spiral of not taking care of yourself. Makes everything a million times worse. Please keep on top of that. Bonus advice 2 is, if you are unable to sleep during the night, please do not try to stay awake during the day to try and fix your sleeping pattern, like pulling an all-nighter. I'll tell you, man, from experience, it never works. What happens is you'll either fall asleep during the day, making your sleeping pattern even worse, or you might take a nap and then you start getting tired at around, say, 9 o'clock at night, and you're thinking, oh, well, sleeping's finally back. But then since you stayed up all night, you have to make up for that. So what happens is you'll go to bed at 9 or whenever it is, and you'll be like, oh, I finally fixed it. And then you're waking up at 3 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon like you normally do, and you feel the physical symptoms of staying up all night, which makes it worse. Just when you're starting to feel like you can sleep, even if you think it's at a bad time, like for me, I've only been able to get to sleep around 7 o'clock in the morning, just go to sleep. Best thing you can do. And finally, advice 5, not counting the bonus advice, is trying out different treatments. There's a bunch of different treatments for this thing. I haven't had any luck with most of them, but that's not to say you won't either. The medications you can take, and even a special light, which I think it's called like a sunbox or something, that simulates sunlight that you don't really get much of. Although it seems very mixed on its effectiveness from what I've read. Both of these didn't do too much for me, but therapy definitely did. Mainly self-therapy, if that's a word. I did get therapy back when I first got diagnosed, but I would say that stuff I've learned online, as well as just experience gained, has taught me so much more on how to deal with this thing. Specifically self-help videos here on YouTube. There's a bunch of great videos out there. One that's helped me out recently is a channel called Therapy to the Point. Specifically his shorts on depression, intrusive thoughts and health anxiety. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. I definitely learned a lot from those videos. Really great videos. All of this advice that I just said is applicable, I think, for other kinds of depression too, not just the seasonal depression. It's just that seasonal depression is what I have and what I deal with. So it's coming from that perspective. But I'm sure most of, if not all of it, can still help people with non-seasonal depression out there. Alright, enough of all this sad crap. Sorry if this video was a bit of a downer. Sure, shit gets difficult, but we'll get through it. I always do. Before I go, I'd like to mention 2 things. First off, I'd like to share what inspired me to make this video. It was actually Moist Critical's video on insomnia. That video was him sharing his experience with it, and it really spoke to me. And since my seasonal depression is affecting me now, I figured I'd do a similar thing, like share my experiences and stuff. Last thing I'll leave you with is one good thing about this disorder. Because for context, I remember seeing a study from some university, I can't remember what it was. It was people sharing a thing that happened in their life that was just the worst thing. And they were asked to name one positive from that experience. Apparently it helps with having a more positive outlook. So, my one positive for this disorder is that when I am unable to sleep, I get to see the sun come up. And it really is beautiful. I highly advise anyone who is unable to sleep, if you're unable to sleep throughout the whole night, to just look out your window around 7 o'clock in the morning and see that sun come up, because it's not something you really get to see if you don't wake up early. I do often take photos of what I see, which I'll put on the screen now. I know we all see beautiful sunsets, but sunrises, God, they're just beautiful. I love seeing them. Right, I'll be off now. Take care of yourselves this winter. See ya.